everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be all about products that just did not work out for me in the entire year of 2018. So it is that time where the wrap-up videos are coming out. Just like I did last year, I'm going to be doing the worst of beauty 2018, which is this video. But stay tuned because in a couple weeks, I'll be doing my big best of beauty 2018. My best of videos tend to be a bit longer than my worst of videos. But today's video is all about the products that did not work out for me in 2018. I've been going back watching my old videos, my makeup monthlies, my regret series, my follow-up videos, and I made a pretty big list of products that did not work out for me, and then I kind of chose the top contenders in several categories here. So I'm going to run through these with you today. So if you're ready to see some products that just did not work out for me throughout this year, let me go ahead and get started. As always, I am probably going to say something that did not work out for me that is a favorite of yours, and that is totally okay. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you watching me while you're walking on your treadmill. We are probably going to have differences in opinions, and that is totally okay, but it's just makeup. A lot of it is personal preference, and I always just recommend, you know, listen to what I'm saying and why it didn't work out for me, because it might be something as simple as we have a different skin type. So obviously different things are going to work for us. And again, stay tuned. My best of video will be coming out soon, but even though this video can kind of be a little bit more negative, I try not to look at it that way because, like I said, it is makeup. Different things are going to work for different people, and it's absolutely impossible for one single product to be loved by absolutely everybody. So I hope that you guys are still able to enjoy this video. But first up, like I said, I had quite a list made of all of the products since I was, you know, revisiting my videos throughout the past year, which was actually a lot of fun to do. I had quite a list, and then I just tried to choose the top ones from there, and really the ones that did not work out for me, and I will of course explain why. For primers, I had a couple primers, but there was only one that I thought I would mention in here, and that was the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer. I really did not like this primer because it was one of those that really kind of balls up on your skin, kind of like pills up on the skin when you put it on, and as you're applying it to your face, it's just like coming off on your fingers and these little icky, ooh, that one did not work out for me. And then even once I was able to apply it and then you would put like your foundation on, then your foundation would start doing the same thing, and it was just kind of a disaster. So that was one primer that I couldn't even continue to keep using. Once I was trying to get my review for it, I was like, okay, no, we are done. For foundations is one of my larger categories in here, definitely one of my larger categories. I love trying out foundations. It's one of my favorite products to try out, but foundations is definitely one of those that if it goes wrong, wow, it really goes wrong, and it can take your look way downhill because it's your foundation, it's part of your base, and if it's not looking good, it can just be a complete day ruiner. So I love trying them out, but you know what? Just as always with makeup, I mean, it's a risk. You're taking a risk every day that you're putting your makeup on, and I'm proud of you for taking that risk. See, it's not that serious. Okay, but first up, who remembers? I didn't even remember. Okay, so as I was making this list, you know, I would kind of jot down things right away, and of course there are things that I've tried recently. So once I really went back, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I forgot that I tried that product. I forgot that I bought that product. But who remembers the Revlon InstaFilter foundation and my complete disdain for this foundation? Because I completely forgot. I wiped it from my mind. My memory was like, I don't want you to have that in your thought bank anymore. Kick it out. Oh yes, the Revlon InstaFilter foundation. This was I'll try to be putting a photo on the screen, but this was a foundation that was a very interesting packaging. It was kind of like a sponge tip, and then you would like twist it up and it would come out a little hole in the top, and then you were supposed to be able to apply it with that sponge, but that was like very hard, and it didn't apply very well. So I typically used a brush or a sponge to apply it, but it just looked so bad on me. I had a couple different shades, and I remember one of the first times, I think it was the first time that I ever wore it out. I remember meeting Georgia Harris for the first time, and we were at Olive Garden, obviously, because we love the Olive Garden, and she even made a comment about it, like, what foundation is that? It looks so bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying this out for the first time, and yeah, no, it did. It was bad. It was all bad. I also tried out the Maybelline Superstay foundation. This was another one that oxidized really bad, but also oxidized more on like the orange side. Like when you put it on, it looked all good, because I remember I filmed a first impressions for it, and I was like, this is going really well. This is awesome. A drugstore foundation, you know, it's a little bit more on the full coverage side. You know, I get done filming And a couple hours later, I look at myself and I'm like, was I always this orange? Or what actually happened here? And as I would continue to wear it, I didn't love the way it looked on my skin. Again, it's more full coverage. I have drier skin, so a lot of times I like something that's either a little bit more natural or a little bit more on the luminous side. After I was wearing it for some time, I noticed that it was really clinging to dry patches. It was breaking up in certain areas. And it was just one of those foundations that after it really set, I felt like I was wearing a lot of makeup, and I didn't appreciate that, and I know I ended up taking that one back. Another foundation that I tried out, and I was so pumped to try out this foundation. I believe I picked it up in one of the Sephora VIP sales. This was the Sunday Riley Influencer Foundation. I surely did not see a lot of positive reviews about this one with people with dry skin, with people with oily skin. There was not a whole lot of positivity going on. And of course, that's a very general, broad statement. There's surely someone out there who did enjoy this foundation, but I was not seeing a lot of reviews that way. Oh, my shirt has thumb holes. Winning. I just got the shirt. I didn't even know that. Woo. Alrighty. For me, it just looked so bad on my skin, and I from the moment that I put it on camera, I was like, I don't think that this is going to go well. It's definitely one of those that broke up very quickly. I didn't find it to be very long wearing at all. And that was one that just really bummed me out. I actually ended up returning that one, and when I returned it, I picked up the Cover FX Power Play foundation because I was between those two. I ended up going with the Sunday Riley, so when I returned it, I got the Cover FX. It's what I'm wearing today. It's one of my favorite foundations, so it all worked out in the end. Woo! Thank goodness. Okay, so another foundation that did not work for me, and this one had me so sad. This is from Lawless Beauty, and I enjoy Lawless Beauty as a brand so much. I just recommended the brand in the 9 brands I think you should try out in 2019 video. I've been very impressed with almost everything I've tried for the brand, with the one exception being the foundation. And honestly, I was like, should I even put in this video, because I like so many other things, and I know I do hear good reviews about the Lawless foundation. I know some people that I enjoy so much, they enjoy that foundation, but I was like, you know, for me, it was just such a personal miss. That, you know, it's just makeup. Again, a lot of these products that I'm mentioning are from brands that I really love, and I love so many other products from, but it happens. Not everything is going to work for everybody. Not everything from one brand is going to work for everyone. It's just truly impossible. This one for me, I think I was just so bummed because I had such high hopes for it. It was supposed to be good for people with really dry skin, so I was like, yes, sign me up. This is awesome. But it was almost like it was too much. Even on my dry skin. After a couple hours of wear, I just looked very oily and very shiny, and that does not happen for me a lot. It was one of those that really slid around on my face. I didn't find the lasting power with it, so I was super bummed about that. So unfortunately, the Lawless was a miss for me. A little bit more recently, going into some newer products that I tried, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. Again, a full coverage matte foundation. Did not look good on my dry skin, clung to the dry patches, and that probably out of all of the foundations, yeah, I would say out of all of the foundations that I'm mentioning, that is the one that felt the most like I was wearing a mask. Like after it dried on my face, if I went like this, it would almost feel like I had like a skincare on, like a peel or something, and in your mouth it hurts to open because you have something on your skin. That's what the foundation felt like for me. I did not like that one at all. I gave it my 3 tries for a review period, and then I was like, done. I'm done trying you. I don't want to put you on my face no more. Also, the Too Faced Do You foundation. This is another one I was super excited to try out. It was supposed to be, again, it's called the Do You foundation. It's supposed to make you look very dewy, very luminous. Again, this one was just like too over the top for me, and again, I just felt like it didn't have a very long wearing power. I have kind of noticed with my foundation preferences, I really do tend to lean towards foundations with natural finishes. That's what this Cover FX one is. The NARS has a natural finish, I would say. The Lancome has a natural finish. I'm looking at all my foundations up here. That's kind of what I've been gearing towards the most. And again, then I do like ones with a little bit more of Lumi, like the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. The ColourPop No Filter I think has a little bit it's not like overly dewy. That's kind of where my foundation preferences lie, but this one I'm just finding with, it's almost like with foundations that do promise to be a little bit more dewy, I just can't get them to stay on my skin long enough, which is interesting. No matter what primer I use or if I'm setting it or whatnot, I just find that I don't get a very long wear time with it. It would break up, especially around my nose, like places around my mouth, things like that. So unfortunately that one was a miss for me as well. And then finally, one of the more recent foundations that I have tried out from all of these is the Makeup Revolution foundation. This was a very popular foundation, the Makeup Revolution concealer, which I own and I do enjoy. That got so much good hype. They came out with the foundation. A bunch of people were trying it out, testing it out. I was seeing some mixed feedback on it, but I thought that I would still give it a try because it was like $12 or something from Ulta. Huge miss for me. Again, it was more of the full coverage mattifying foundation. It looked terrible with my dry skin. And just felt uncomfortable. I did not like this one at all. I reviewed it fairly recently on my channel and I just really didn't have a lot of good things to say about it. So unfortunately, those were my foundation misses. I just feel personally attacked by some of these foundations, you know? It's a personal thing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so for concealer, I really only had one concealer that I found that was really a big miss for me. This was the Becca Full Coverage Concealer. I feel like it was just a couple months back that I reviewed this one and I was really excited for it. I love trying out new concealers, and it's funny because concealers tend to generally work pretty well for me. I have concealers that I like, then I have concealers that I love, but there's not a lot that have been like a full-on miss for me except this Becca Full Coverage one. It was a very drying concealer, which I do not like. I find it really hard to blend out on the under eyes, so I thought it was very drying, and I have dry under eyes anyways, so it just really emphasized it would look like I was wearing a lot of makeup. So unfortunately I did not like that one. A couple like single products in here to talk about. This first one, I don't know if people are going to be more mad that I didn't like this product or if they were more mad when I mentioned in a recent video that I don't love pizza. I don't know. We'll go ahead and see. The Wet n Wild highlighters. I know I've said this before on my channel, but I'm just not a fan of them, and I've tried either like 2 or 3 now. Because I bought one and, you know, of course I was like, I don't know, maybe it's the shade thing that I'm not appreciating. The first one I bought was in Precious Petals. That was it, because a lot of people were raving about that one. And I know I've tried at least one other one, if not 2 more. I can't remember for sure off the top of my head, but I've tried the Wet n Wild highlighters. I gave them a chance. I tried, and I just don't see the hype over them. And I truly just, when they were in my collection, I don't think I have any more in my collection now, I would never reach for them. I just didn't see anything special about them. I felt like I had to work a lot to get them built up on my skin. I do like more of a, you know, glowing, blinding highlight, and I didn't feel that with the Wet n Wild. And I know a lot of people love Wet n Wild products because they are so affordable, but for me, I say this a lot, I don't mind paying more money for products that I'm actually going to use and I'm actually going to love. And when I had the Wet n Wild highlights, they just sat there. I did not use them. So I was bummed that that was a miss for me. Another one I have in here is the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzers. So I just recently posted a top 5 bottom 5 on the Anastasia Beverly Hills brand, and I did mention the bronzers in my bottom 5. I just did not enjoy these. I didn't find them to be very natural looking. I didn't find them to blend out on the skin very well. I picked one up and I ended up returning it because I just could not get on with it. And then more recently, a product that I really did not enjoy. I think I just put this in my fail section of my latest makeup monthly. This was the Beauty Bakerie highlighter. So it comes in like it's like a cute little, almost like ice cream looking thing, but inside is just a loose highlighter. The packaging is very messy on it. It's very hard to use with these highlighters. And then packaging aside, I just didn't like the highlighter anyways. I didn't think it looked good on my skin. And just overall, I was not impressed with the Beauty Bakerie highlight, which was a bummer. Moving over to some palettes, I have like face palettes and eyeshadow palettes in this category. This was way, I want to say like in January or February, and it was again one of those that I was like, oh, I kind of forgot that I even tried that product because it's kind of forgettable. This is the Urban Decay Afterglow Highlight Palette. It had 4 different highlighters in there, and I remember being so bummed about this because I had tried the Urban Decay Sin Highlight and I loved it, and then this palette came out and I was like, oh my gosh, a highlight palette with, yes, and I bought it and I was super disappointed in it. I didn't find that any of the highlights even came close to Sin. Sin is such a beautiful blinding highlight that you don't need to work with. I didn't find any of the 4 highlights in there to do that, and I didn't feel like they looked really good on the skin, and so I think I either decluttered that one or I sold it off. I don't remember, but I don't have it in my collection anymore. Also the Tarte Clay Play 2. The Tarte Clay Play 2. You knew it was going to make it in this video because I felt like that palette was what really put Tarte, like, I got them under my microscope after I tried the Tarte Clay Play 2 palette. And I actually went back and rewatched my video that I posted on the Clay Play 2 because I was so excited about it because I loved the original Clay Play palette. I thought it was awesome. There was eyeshadows in there and contour and bronzer shades and I loved it. And then they came out with the Clay Play 2, which had eyeshadows, a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. I was like, this is going to be my most loved product. I can feel it. This was made for me. I went out and purchased that palette so fast, and when I got home and opened it up and started playing with it, I was like, oh, I was duped by Tarte. Basically, they just remade the Clay Play 1 and they switched out like 2 or 3 different eyeshadows and then kept in one of the same bronzers and then put in the blush and the highlight, and the highlight was like full of glitter. But it was such a similar palette, and I just felt like Tarte was making it seem like this was a brand new palette that you could have in addition to the first Clay Play, when really it was so very similar. I mean, I don't know, it was a bad situation, and I was just super bummed about that because that was, I had already kind of been feeling that Tarte was doing some strange things, but then when that happened, I was like, I feel like they're trying to like dupe their customers and just, you know, be on this trend that we see of constantly pushing out makeup and constantly pushing out makeup. And instead of making new and innovative products, they're just repeating so many things that they've already done and just making a few tweaks and trying to pass it off. And I thought it was so interesting because in the Clay Play 1 and the Clay Play 2, the different shades had names listed in the palette. In the Clay Play 2, they had the exact same names, but there was like a few tweaks that they had made, and I can't exactly remember for sure off the top of my head what it was, but I remember like in the Clay Play 1, there was a black shade and it was called black, and in the Clay Play 2, there was a purple shade, but it was called black, because they kept the same names, because it was like the same freaking palette, you know? I mean, I'm exaggerating that point, but I was like, no! So I was so mad. So after that, I decided to go on a no-buy from Tarte because I just wasn't agreeing with a lot of things that they were doing. And the Clay Play 2 was one that made me super angry. So of course I was gonna put it in here. Okay. Another product that just did not work out for me in 2018 and one that I was super bummed about was the Desi and Katy Dose of Colors collaboration, their 4-pan eyeshadow palette. I was so stoked for this because I love Desi, I love Katy, I love Dose of Colors. I was like, this is perfect. I cannot wait. I bought the eyeshadow palette with the 4 different shades inside, and the shades named after their dogs. I thought it was so cute, loved it. This was a pretty big letdown, and I think a lot of people did not get on with this palette. I saw a lot of people bring it up in, you know, makeup that didn't work for them, makeup they didn't like, makeup they regret, etc. And I was super bummed about that. It was just really hard to use them. You had to use them wet. You had to use them with your fingers. They were more just like topper shades, and I don't know. I felt like all of the looks that I saw them do, I could not recreate on myself, which had me bummed out. You know, I'm just a regular old girl sitting here in Iowa, gonna go to the dentist after this because I have a cavity. You know, so it's just like, I'm not no fancy makeup artist type things. I just felt like I couldn't get the same looks that they were doing, and I was really bummed about that. So that palette really just collected dust, which was sad. Another product that I didn't love was from Almay. These were their eyeshadow quads. I tried quite a few, and I really wanted to love these because they were very affordable. They were just tiny little squares with 4 different little eyeshadows in there. A lot of them had different, you know, color themes. There was a purple one and a blue one and a green one and a brown one. And I tried so many of them, and they were just, they were some of the worst eyeshadows that I've really tried. Like, you could apply it and you have to really work hard to make those eyeshadows shown on your eyes, and then an hour later you're like, did I put makeup on today? Did I forget to do my eyeshadow? You know, it was like one of those, so that was a bummer. And then I also wanted to mention the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette. This was the purple palette. So not only did I have a reaction to the palette, I do have sensitive eyes, so sometimes certain eyeshadows can cause me to have reactions on my eyes, so that's a bummer, but that is a personal thing. But I also really ended up not enjoying the palette, and I thought that I would, but the shades performed so differently on my eyes than I thought that they were going to. And again, looking at the photos of, you know, the makeup looks with the palette, I thought I was gonna, I don't know, a lot of the shades in there, the darker purple, even the blue sparkly, I thought was going to be different, and they seem to muddy up very easily on the eyes and just kind of all run together. So I was super disappointed with that one. I ended up returning it, so that was a bummer. So those are some palettes that did me dirty in 2018. For our mascara, again, mascara is one of those that I tend not to get super worked up over mascara. If mascaras don't work for me, I can typically still keep them and just wear them when I am prepping my lashes for false lashes, because I do wear false lashes quite a bit, and I like to put mascara on prior to that. So if there's not a mascara, like I'm wearing the Hourglass Caution today, I love this mascara. I wouldn't want to waste this mascara by putting false lashes over it. So mascara I don't love, you know, that's kind of what I'll use it for. But honestly, the CoverGirl Peacock Flare Mascara, I just couldn't get like anything happening with my lashes with that one. So I didn't even want to keep that around even for just, you know, prior to putting false lashes on. So I just got rid of that one because that did not work out for me. And then lastly, I'm going to finish it up with some lip products that didn't work out. I'm so old school with my with my list that I make. Everyone else is like on their phone, or you know, got like a small device with Google telling you what you wrote down in your ear. That might be too futuristic, but I got my good old notepad over here. The Anastasia matte lipsticks, they're bullet matte lipsticks. Again, I mentioned these in the bottom 5 category of my ABH one brand video. These just did not work out for me. They were so hard to apply to the lips. They were not creamy at all. It was hard to get any sort of even application. These were just a no-go. This next one, this might be my most disliked lipstick that I tried in 2018. It was the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Lipsticks, and I tried like 3 different shades because I always get this thing in my head when I'm trying out lipsticks that I don't like. I need to keep trying more shades because it's probably a shade thing. Why I do that, I don't know, but I tried 3 different shades of this one, and it was one of the most uncomfortable lipsticks that I tried. It was one of those that like stuck your lips together so bad and continually got all over my teeth. Oh my gosh, I did not like that at all. Also, the Fenty Mademoiselle, I think is what they were called, lipsticks. I got the shade Up to No Good, which is kind of like a peachy orange almost, and I did not like that lipstick at all, and I was super disappointed because I was trying so hard to get interested in a Fenty product, because this was, you know, like back in the beginning of the year, or when Fenty released, if you said that you weren't interested in a Fenty product, people were coming for you and coming for you hard because they were taking it very personally, which was very confusing to me. And it was like I would get so many mean comments about not wanting to try something from Fenty that I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna try this lipstick. And then I tried it and I was like, well, great, now I don't like it. So now I gotta tell people I don't like the lipstick. Oh my gracious. Luckily, I think that's kind of calmed down, which is good. I've gone on to really enjoy the Fenty Stunna lip paints and Uncuffed. I've been talking about that a lot recently. I picked up a new gloss bomb, so that's good. But the Mademoiselle lipsticks, I felt like were very drying. Again, they were easier to apply, but then once you had them on, they would flake off your lips very unattractively. Not so good. And then lastly, the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. I reviewed those pretty recently, and I did not like those at all. I didn't like the formula of these. I didn't like the way that they looked on the lips. I didn't like a lot of the colors that I tried out, which was very odd because again, MAC did send me these in PR, but I tried a lot of the different shades in there, and I just could not get on with that very soft powdery formula, more of that blotted lip look. It's just not a personal preference for me, so those were a big pass for me. So those are a few lip products, but after that, that's gonna wrap it up for the products that just did not work out for me in 2018, my worst of beauty 2018 video, if you will. I hope that you were able to see through all of these that, again, makeup is not that serious. It is okay if we disagree on a different makeup preferences and all of that, and it's just so hard to have makeup products work for absolutely everybody. So I would love to know some of the products that were just a big miss for you, maybe ones that you wanted to love so much, because again, a lot of these in here are items that I really thought I was going to love, that I thought were really going to be for me, and that makes it almost hurt a little bit worse when you don't get on with them. But I would love to know some of your misses for 2018. Again, stay tuned because I will be having a really big best of 2018 video coming up as well. But I hope that you guys were able to enjoy this video, or you found it helpful in some way, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.